Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. I haven't done a makeup video in a while, but I will definitely tell you guys that things have changed in my makeup routine. Only when I'm doing full face. We're gonna get right into it. So we're gonna start off with the Centella sunscreen. This is like my favorite sunscreen of all time. Just FYI, everything will be listed down below in the description, as well as my YesStyle code. You can find most of the products that I'm going to show you today on YesStyle, and you can use my code to get some money off when you check out. Right now I'm just putting on my sunscreen. My face is still a bit bloated because I just woke up not too long ago. Okay, sunscreen is on. Next, I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. primer. My makeup's nothing too special. Today's going to be a very casual makeup day. As you guys can see from, the thumbnail, if that's the type of makeup look that you're looking for, this is the video for you. Or if you want just some company, someone to yap to while you're doing work, this is the video for you. It's getting sticky. Moving on to the next step, since we got the primer on, we're gonna go straight into the cushion foundation. I'm using the hints in the shade 32 Sand. I've told myself to go get like my foundation shade and everything matched, but I haven't yet. But this is the closest that I could get it. But to be fair, this foundation shade low-key matches me, so I'm not too mad. Cushion foundation is very light, so it's not really like full coverage foundation. Oh shoot, I literally forgot. I normally put blush on first before I put on the cushion foundation because it leaves like the blush to last all day, as well as it gives you like this under hue. I'm just gonna quickly do it now. I'm using the Moira. They're like a smaller makeup brand that showed up onto like my school campus, and I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna check it out. And now I love this blush. I'm just gonna take my brush and like brush it out. Normally I would do this before. Okay, keep in mind I'm putting bold before. Okay, cheeks are pink. Let's go back with my cushion. Normally I go with the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, but since I'm not gonna use, which one should I use actually today? I've decided after foundation, after the blush. Alright, I'm gonna move into the bronzer. This is, I don't know how to say this. SAIE? This is in the color Salt. I got it from Sephora. I normally just make myself into a fish.
What the dog doing?
That's all I add. I add like a little dot right here next to where my eye is, and another one over here. For the forehead, I just go like in the top or upper corner. I really don't use so much product at all. I'm done. Now I use this brush. It's not the right brush, but I still use it. I just squeeze it, so then it's kind of like a oval shape. And then I just slide my cheeks. Instead of sliding upward, I slide backwards. And I drag it up at the end. My hair out of the way. I'm gonna start with this one first. For the top part, I would just drag it to my hairline as much as possible because I don't want to make that like extra gap there. I would just smear it towards like the top of my forehead, to the side. And now there's like a gap right here where my eyebrow, the end of my eyebrow is at. And then a gap right here where like my blush is. And then at this spot, I just tap it in and drag it back towards my hairline. And then once it's like blended out sort of, I would bring it up to connect it to the top, and I would bring it down to connect it to the bottom. Sometimes you just gotta trust the process. Bronzed up, kind of defined compared to this side. Let's go do this side. Okay, now we are bronzed up. Now, normally I don't contour my nose, but I've been trying and testing it out a little bit. This is the I'm Meme Multi-Stick Duo, which is, this side's a highlighter. Oh, you can tell I've used it. And then this side is at the bronzer side. You can find this on YesStyle as well. Remember, I'm gonna link everything below. I'm leaving my code in the top corner right here just so you guys are aware. It's ashstime 1. So ashes with an S, time, and then 1. Let's draw the nose contour. All I do is that I make like a loop right there. I'm just connecting my nose basically. I like having the point of my nose like kind of pop out, like a dot on top right there. And then my nose, very light lines, because this product comes out a lot. And to be fair, I don't really contour as much. I will just go in with this brush. I'm telling you guys, I don't have any professional like makeup brushes either. I get them literally from like TJ Maxx, so they're not like professional makeup tools. I'm just gonna lightly blend this out because we don't want to make it like a super gigantic, otherwise it will look a little off. Does that make sense? Like, you don't want to smear it everywhere is what I'm trying to say. Now we're just gonna draw this imaginary like circle. I'm just gonna use my fingers to clear it up a little bit to go with my nose shape. We got the tip of the nose. For the sides, I'm just gonna blend it up and down here, a little up to where my inner corner is at, but I'm not gonna go any higher than that. I'm gonna connect it down to the rest of my contour down here. So you can see that line right there. Because to be fair, I didn't start doing this until like as of literally recently. So don't get upset at yourself if you can't do it right away. You know, take your time. We all learn some way or another. Alrighty, now I'm just gonna use my finger. I always use my finger when I'm doing makeup. Underrated makeup tool. If it looks a little blotchy, it's okay as of for now. Because we will be using baking powder later and it's gonna kind of just set everything down a little better. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my eyes. For now, I'm using the Tweezerman eyelash curler right here. I've had it for years now. It's worth it to spend the extra bucks just to get a good eyelash curler. Makeup is an art, so don't ever rush it. Take your time with it. It took me a while until I finally got into like the routine of how I do things now. I'm gonna start with some of my eye makeup. It's just to highlight some things. This is the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil Stick. This is in the shade, I think it's just white. Oh, in the shade Milk. You can tell I used a lot of it already. I just put some in the inner corner right here. And then I put some right underneath my eye. So, like that. And then I just use my fingers. And then I just rub it in. It just brightens out my inner corner a little bit. And then on the bottom, I'm gonna keep it along like my underwater line or like my aegosol. I already have like aegosol, it's like the line right there. But I do want to deepen it, so I will be using the e.l.f. No-Budge Matte Shadow Stick in the shade Cool Beans. It comes with a sharpener at the end right here. And then the other side is the stick part. It's literally broken. The thing doesn't go up or down anymore because I dropped it multiple times. And then I'm just gonna use my nail. If you have like a sharp brush or like the eyeliner brushes, you could use it as well. But I'm gonna use my nail because it's easier for me, and because my nails are stiletto, I need that much product. Like that much, only that much. And where my eye is, where my pupil is, I go straight down. That's gonna be the darkest or the deepest line. So for my pupil, down. I know it depends on like where you look as well. So look straight, down. That line right there. Blend it out a little bit towards the front, and then I'm gonna drag it to the back. Now I'm not gonna curve it up. I'm just gonna go along my line. If you don't have a line, you can always fake it. You can like scrunch your eye up like this, or you could just eyeball it. It's like a good maybe like 2 centimeters down from your waterline, so it's not too far down. Or you can eyeball it to where your lower lashes end. It should be right underneath where your eyelashes end. Oh yeah, I do have a scratch on my arm. It's because my cat. Please excuse it. Alrighty, it's time to put on lashes. So these are my lashes. I've worn them basically for like over 2 years now or so. Favorite lashes of all time. Alright, I'm gonna quickly put on my lashes. I don't put it in strips. They're in like little like cuts like this. It comes as a strip, but I cut it so it's not. I'm gonna need my smaller mirror for this. And as you guys can tell, I'm like gluing it on the bottom. I do want to try bond and seal, but like I'm low-key scared, so I'm not gonna do it like anytime soon, but possibly in the future, just to test it out. I'm telling you guys, lashes make the look. All right, I got lashes on one side. Let's do the other. Alrighty, okay, lashes are on. I always have a problem with my inner corner over here. For some reason, over time, it kind of just mushes together. It's not great. This is also the Tweezerman tweezers. To be fair, I like the eyelash curlers a lot more than tweezers. I'm not gonna lie. But okay, since I got all my lashes on and everything, I'm just gonna use my finger and I'm just gonna push it upward. And voila, we have the lashes on. We will not work on the bottom eyelashes yet. We are gonna go in with the baking powder now. Where's my baking powder? I am using the HudaBeauty in the color Pound Cake, in the shade Pound Cake. I'm just gonna tap it like 3 times or so. It takes a second until it gets like used to like the pattern, I guess. And then the powder starts coming out like this. I can't really lift it down. It's loose powder. I'm just gonna take a beauty blender. And usually you wet it, so then, you know, wet it a little bit. Mine has made this like, I don't know what it's called, like a shield, I guess. So that when I put powder on, it doesn't seep through or anything, and it just stays perfectly on. Grab like this much, or grab more, you know, the more the better. And I'm just gonna go where my nose bridge is, and I'm gonna drag it out. Something like that. The more you add, the better it is. So I'm just gonna add a little more upward, and I'm just gonna drag it out. You don't have to blend it out. I'm just doing so just so I can get every corner that I want it to be in. To be fair, as long as it's on, it's on. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm just gonna put some on my forehead, like right in the center. Okay, I'm gonna grab some more. And now I'm gonna go from my right underneath where I put my bronzer. I'm just gonna bake right underneath, so we're just gonna go in with this beauty blender. Usually I put a light line like underneath my cheekbone first, just so I can like eyeball it, and then I go back and I put more because, you know, this is like a big portion of my face other than like here. I'm just gonna go in where my smile lines are, or that's where like I crease the most because I smile a lot. I'm looking crazy, but you just gotta trust the process. Now this one, I have the NYX blush. I dropped it multiple times and I used it a lot, so the whole thing is gone, but the shade is Bang Bang. This will be used after. I'm just gonna wait a little bit for my face to set. In the meanwhile, how have you guys been? It's been a second since I posted like a talking, yapping makeup or like clothing video. So it's definitely been a second. I'm actually very excited that Christmas is rolling back around and we're staying home for the holidays this year most likely. So I am super excited to just spend the holidays at home, go gift shopping. You know, we didn't get to do that last year because if you guys watched my last year's Vlogmas and my winter trip, we went on like good over a week trip to Washington DC. We visited the Capitol, the White House, yada yada, and then we interchanged through Virginia and Maryland a lot because the states are very close to one another, and like you'll never know when you're in the next state already because they're that close. And then we road tripped all the way over to Pennsylvania, and then we went to Canada afterwards. We went to Niagara Falls and we stayed in that area, and then we went over to Toronto, and then we went over to New Jersey. So we drove all the way back to New Jersey. I did full-on planning on this. I booked the hotel and I was like, yeah, like nearby there's a train station and we could use that train station from here to New York and back and forth like that. And it wasn't that far of a walk because we weren't planning to drive anywhere or like, you know, spend more money on parking. I did all that planning out. It was crazy. That was fun. We went to New York, then we went to the countdown and everything. Alrighty, it's been a couple minutes now. I'm just gonna use this fluffy brush and I'm just gonna brush it all off. I also don't do my eyebrows either because my eyebrows are pretty thick on their own. They're pretty dominant, so I don't really draw them in or anything. But I know there's like eyebrow gels and stuff. I do have one actually that you can use to like shapen them and keep them the way they are. But I would just leave my eyebrows alone. Let's go in with the blush. This is the NYX, as I said earlier, in the shade Bang Bang. I'm gonna grab some onto like my blush brush and I'm gonna tap it downward. Instead of tapping it like this so that it comes out, tap it downward so that the product goes into the brush and it will give you like a more even finish. And then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna tap it on instead of like smearing it. So I'm just gonna lightly tap where I want it to be. It will evenly distribute the blush to where you want it to go, other than like smearing it and then having some places be uneven. I like keeping my blush from here upward on my cheekbone as close to my eyes as possible. It's just a me thing, you know, everybody puts blush on differently. I'm gonna gently tap this in. When you're baking, after you're done baking and you're like brushing it off, don't be afraid to like really get in there and like take the bake off, because sometimes they do leave lingering like powder on your face and it'll just make your face look very cakey. The point of baking is not to make your face cakey, but just smooth, very poreless. So like as you can see, like right here, it's like very smooth. Earlier when I was putting on my stick blush, I only put it on my cheeks and I didn't put it on like my nose or my bridge. This is when I go in and I do that. I do it with the powder instead. So I'm gonna take a little bit, I'm just gonna tap the very tip of my nose. I really like putting blush on the tip of my nose right there. And then I'm just gonna go in. We don't want to go way too far up, because if it goes way too far up, now it looks like you have like you got hit right in front of your nose or between your eyes. Tap on the bridge, like right in the center of the lines that you drew earlier when you did the contour. If you need to fix anything up with your makeup, go ahead and use your fingers. Any excess blush I have goes in the middle of my forehead, just to have some color, and then on my chin. Now I'm gonna go in with the mascara for my bottom lashes. I've tried to use falsies on my bottom lashes, but I cannot do it, and they're so uncomfortable for me. I just can't. I will go in with a waterproof mascara because if you use waterproof, it won't raccoon you throughout the day. So I'm gonna go in with my outer lashes. This is also the Etude. I do not know the color of it. It doesn't say on the packaging, but it is this black packaging. I know it comes in like a pink too. I think the pink one is the original mascara where it's not waterproof. I think this one's the only waterproof one. I'm mainly focusing on my outer lashes. I make the craziest faces when I do mascara. It's actually insane. I also like scrape off the excess like mascara just so I don't get blotchy mascara like on my lashes. And then I'm just gonna go back with on like a second coat if possible. But I'm gonna sit like further away from the mirror just so I can see how I look like from a far away distance to see like how noticeable the bottom lashes look like. When you do makeup, always, I don't know if people talk about this, but I know a lot of people hold like the mirror really, really close to their face, or they sit really, really close to a mirror just so they can see how they like look like in all the little details, which is great. Yes, you should definitely do that. But every once in a while, sit back and take a look at what you've done to see like how dominant and how you want to make yourself seen. Because sometimes when you put makeup on really close, you're like, oh, that looks great. But then you move back and you're like, yeah, I can't see it. That's always something that I've noticed. I'm not a makeup professional, so I will say like, take what will benefit you, but don't take everything word by word for word, I guess. This is what works for me. It might work for others. Sometimes it won't work for others, and that's completely okay. I'm gonna go in with the setting spray one more time, and I'm just gonna seal everything up. Very nice. Now I'm gonna finish up my makeup with a highlighting stick. This is called Glint by BDIVOV. This is their stick highlighter. This is in the shade Milky Moon number 2. It is a bit dirty because I use it a lot, but it's just a highlighting stick. You think it stays oily? No, it dries down, and I love it. Put it on the tip of my nose, and then on just a little bit on my bridge, like right between my eyes. Let's go back with the bronzer multi-stick by I'm with the highlighter. I'm just gonna go up on my eyebrow arch and then right over here as well, like that. And then now I'm just gonna use my finger. I'm just gonna blend it in so it's not blotchy. We do not want it to look blotchy because we want everything to look subtle. Alrighty, and I'm gonna tap my nose in. The nose, the Glint stick highlighter is a pink shade, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of that and I'm gonna put it on my eyebrows. And then next I'm gonna go in with my Makeup by Mario. This is in the shade Rich Mauve. Literally my favorite thing ever. Oop. This is part of the birthday gift set from this year, and I tried it and I'm obsessed with it. It comes with the Makeup by Mario in the shade Rosewood Glow. This is the moisturizing glow plumping lip serum, and I am obsessed. You can tell I ran out, but it's okay because I did buy a whole new lip liner and a whole lipstick. I just haven't used it yet. But I'm just gonna go in with the lip liner first before I go in with this because I'm gonna go eat, and I know if I'm gonna go eat, this is gonna rub off and food's gonna be stuck on the gloss, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on the liner. I don't draw all the way from the outer corner of my lips. So I start from like a little bit forward and then I drag it to the middle. As so, sort of like coloring. And now what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna color in the outer corners of my lip. The whole thing doesn't have to be colored because what I'm gonna do next, you can use your finger. I know the actual like lip liner, like the full size one, comes with a brush. I'm just gonna use my lips. I'm just gonna. Sometimes I would just stop here and I put gloss on, or I just stop here and just leave it as the way it is if I want it to be matte. And honestly, it's such a gorgeous color. It looks even better with this on as well. But I'll show you guys the finished look in a bit. I'm gonna go eat now. We'll get changed and everything, and I'll show you the final look. Okay, so this is the final look. I put on the plumping gloss that I mentioned. I ate first, so it doesn't get, like, my food doesn't get stuck to the gloss, and then it just makes a whole mess and I have to wipe everything off. Yeah, I put on my hoop earrings, and that's the final look. That's the makeup that I got going on. Yeah, if you guys ever try this, let me know. Feel free to check out all the products that I used in the description down below. And remember to use my YesStyle code ashstime1 to get a discount off your entire order. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below and I'll answer it to the best of my ability. But that's it for this video. Bye!